If all goes well for Sao Paulo, we could see the crowning of a new SSL Major Division champion today in the second part of Matchday 21. But if things don't go the way they need them to, it will come down to the final match day. Everything hangs in the balance. Hello, everyone. I am Metafiction, and I am excited to bring you this penultimate match day here in the majors for season 22. It's been a season of ups and downs, but for the most part, União Sao Paulo have managed to hold on to the lead for almost the entirety of the season. And if they can win against AC Romana, they will be the Major Division champions for the first time in their organization's history. Of course, looking to spoil the party are Hollywood FC, who still have an outside chance at taking the title. It all depends on whether they can win and Sao Paulo can lose. If Hollywood do indeed win and Sao Paulo drop points, it goes into the final match day where it will all be decided. However, if Hollywood do not win, then simply a point will be enough for Sao Paulo. A win, of course, would force Sao Paulo to win. It's a little bit of a complicated calculus here, but I don't think any of those Hollywood players are focused on anything except winning. It's going to be a bit of a stern test to do so, of course, as they face Buenos Aires, who haven't had the best of seasons, but are never easy, especially in pressure situations, to have to face. Here they come through the center of the pitch. Here's Closa, and that goes over. Apologies, it seems to have been tipped, and it is a corner. Headed back out to Calderon. 1-2 with Brooks, but dealt with. Wallerson sends it long, ultimately falling to Skavgard. Here's Calderon, cutting inside. Skavgard lays it off, and Mograin's shot over. Ball finds its way to O'Leary, nearly losing out. Lorenzo sends it back to the keeper. Ultimately intercepted by Mograin, and now here come Hollywood. Back to Cormier. Now Hefeweizen. Long ball forward, Calderon puts the cross in, saved, and it's pushed away. I don't know if that was intended as a shot or not, but Kabiri did see it as a threat, and rightly so, able to push it out. Now here comes Buenos Aires. O'Leary threw on goal, but a good block from Cormier ensures that doesn't get more than a foot or two. If you haven't seen the previous part of this match day, you'll know that Reykjavik fell to Catalonia 2-1, as that's a corner for Hollywood. But Reykjavik's loss means that they are officially out of the title race, meaning Hollywood are the only challengers left to stop Sao Paulo. Whether they will or not is another story, but if anyone is to pip Sao Paulo to the post, it will be Hollywood. Here they come again. It's Mograin. Gets around the defender, Fiacra, and Caspian Skavgard puts Hollywood in the lead. A win here wouldn't be enough to put them in first in the standings just yet. There'd still be work to do on match day 22, but it's a very good start. Hollywood working through again, and Brooks just whistles it over the bar. Well, Hollywood have come out all guns blazing, as is to be expected. Buenos Aires have barely been able to get a shot in. That one repelled, and now here comes Skavgard, but touch a little too heavy, and it's Scott who gets to it. Buenos Aires cautious in the build-up. Now Kabiri sending it long. O'Leary looked like might have been through on goal, but elected to head it down, and now come forward Hollywood as a result of that. Cross goes in, and it's headed past Kabiri by Gerd Klose. Well, Hollywood asserting their authority here on this one. Brooks got around Snooks long enough to put the cross in, and Klose, with a deft finish, past the veteran keeper. Now here comes Calderon with a corner kick to add to the Hollywood lead here. Ultimately coming to nothing, but still on the attack. Now here is Dia to the end line, trying to cross in, perhaps to Klose, but Kabiri able to block it, and I believe was offside, or it ricocheted off of Dia. Regardless, it would be the ball would be in possession of Buenos Aires. And the shot there for Munoz blocked, as is so often the case today. Pass forward, here is Snooks. Cutting inside, puts the cross in, trying to find Sterling Scott, but couldn't quite. And now Hollywood intercepting again. Martel on the break. Has numbers in the middle. Finding Skavgard, who's already scored and does win another corner. Worth remembering, goal difference is a factor here. Hollywood would have to make up quite a bit should they come to a points tie with Sao Paulo. Free kick for Buenos Aires. Sending it into the box. Falls forward, and Sterling Scott smashes it into the roof of the net. VAR looking at it to make sure there was no foul play. And indeed, it is a valid goal. And so Buenos Aires have one back. Looks like it took a deflection there. We'll have to see a little closer. Scott might have been just a smidge offside, but VAR seeing no problem with it. Hard to tell which Hollywood player that took that deflection off of, but nevertheless, it will count, and Buenos Aires have the deficit. Getting close to halftime, it's a corner kick delivered by Brooks for Hollywood. Up into the air, and that is put away by Ali Dia. And the deficit is back to 2 goals. Well, it's a bit of an unorthodox set piece. Munoz tried to clear it, but only sent it into the air, and Dia right there to just absolutely smash it. Now Buenos Aires with another corner, as this match has exploded into life just before halftime. Header, though, goes over the bar. Passing in amongst the back line of Hollywood, eventually finding Brooks there out on the far side. Skavgard switches play. Through ball, and Closa has scored another one, courtesy of Alex Calderon. Let's look at this again, because this developed very quickly. Skavgard carried the ball into the middle of the pitch. Calderon took a touch and then passed it in to Gerd Closa through the defense. A precision pass there by the fullback, and Hollywood lead 4-1 as we enter halftime. Well, they knew they needed to win this match, and they are doing it. Currently 4-1. We'll have to see if that deficit holds, if they can extend it, or if Buenos Aires can find themselves a way back into this. Second half is underway, and Hollywood going left to right, already with a sizable advantage, but nevertheless will likely still be looking to score. Remember, they do have a large goal difference to make up. That could be a factor depending on how the points shake out. That header with not enough velocity behind it, and Kabiri just lets it fall into their arms. Skavgard trying to weave out of trouble. And line cross. It's passed back, and that takes a deflection into the air. Does eventually fall back to Hollywood. Now here's Calderon, but losing out to Ruben. Buenos Aires are going to need to make more moves like that if they want to close this gap. But for the moment, Hollywood continue their assault. Cormier trying to get around Scott, and almost does. Tries to cut it back, but it's McManus, I believe, who is able to intercept that. And now, here's the break for Ruben. Can't quite lift it past Duncan Walrison. It was a great move by Buenos Aires. Just didn't quite come off the way they needed it to. Time passing very quickly for Buenos Aires, but they do have a corner here as Ruben tries to loft it into any number of attacking threats in the center, but Walrison rises above all of them. Calderon charging up the far flank. Cuts it back. Here's Skavgard. Passes in, and that ball deflected over by, from the boot of Martel. And that shot this time needs no assistance to go over. Free kick in, dealt with by Buenos Aires, but Skavgard able to mop it up, and now Dia coming forward again. Pass off target. McManus. Now Ruben. That one headed out well by Mograine, I believe that was. And now Martel potentially through on goal. Can't quite get the shot in. Already picked up a knock Martel, but it's through in again. Evan Hunt this time. And that is number 5 for Hollywood. It was a very good challenge by, I believe that was Lorenzo initially, but just ends up in the back of the net anyway, courtesy of Hunt. And Hollywood have run away with this one. Ruben trying to get into the center, but nothing doing. Martel takes possession, hits it forward, but doesn't quite get the pass right. Fiacra. Ruben with the long ball, but can't find a teammate on the other end of it. Does get it back, though. trying to find Snooks there, but couldn't quite. Now Martel ducking in for Hollywood. Calderon with the cross, and that was just over. I believe that was Brooks, who barely missed the goal. Another long ball by Walrison. The header battle resolves down to Dia. Now Brooks. Skavgard. Over the top. Finding Brooks again. Cross at the end line, and that one headed over. I believe that was close at that time. Well, Hollywood have held up their end of the bargain thus far. Less than 20 minutes to play, and they've got the win they need. Now they just have to hope that Sao Paulo falls victim to Romana in a title winning situation once again. Dia through to Brooks, and Brooks just tipped wide by Kabiri. Brooks out. And Gerd Klose completes the hat trick and makes it 6-1 for Hollywood. An absolutely brilliant shot off the corner kick. What more can you say? Well placed, well struck. And another corner here for Hollywood. That header had some velocity on it. It's going to be pushed back out. Brooks tries again. This time up in the air, Hefeweizen back to Brooks, but Brooks can't keep it in bounds. Brooks loses out there, but Dia immediately winning it back for Hollywood. But now Skavgard losing out to Leo Fiacra. Ruben back to Fiacra in the box, and the shot blocked by Hercule Hefeweizen. Ruben in the box, back out to McManus, rebuffed. Buenos Aires still with it, but the attack functionally stopped cold. Ball settles here with Ruben. Gets to the end line, puts the cross in, and once again, Walrison plucking it out of the air. And this Hollywood team have been impressive, no doubt, in their charge up the table. Even if they fall just a little bit short this season, they can be more than proud of what they've achieved. And that shot from Pete Martel makes it number 7 on the day for Hollywood. And once again, Calderon involved in the build up here, making that final pass. Such a strong performance by Calderon today. Fiacra is going to be forced off with an injury here in the closing stages. I can't imagine it'll have too much of an effect on the final scoreline, but certainly adding insult to injury, or I suppose injury to insult, for Buenos Aires. As time winds down, Hollywood with a very commendable 7-1 victory over a Buenos Aires team that is never to be underestimated. It's Closa who's your player of the match with the hat trick, 4 other goal scorers as well. Just a fantastic performance for Hollywood. Less so for Buenos Aires, despite some bright spots, were just absolutely under the gun for pretty much the entirety of the match. And now Hollywood have done all they can do, and now they have to watch and wait for our final match of the day, where Romana will take on Sao Paulo, and if Sao Paulo lose, the title race will go into the final day of the season. For that, though, we do have another match to tend to, that being Tenochtitlan against Leafyside Celtic. It has been a debut season to forget for Leafyside Celtic, who have essentially occupied the bottom spot on the table from the word go. Certainly growing pains with any new organization, but it will have been a bit of a concerning sign for a side that perhaps not pushing for a league title immediately, but was expecting to be in amongst the mid-table flock. They will have another chance to try and close the gap slightly to the rest of the table, but to do so, they'll have to visit Tenochtitlan, who once again have started to put things together in this, their third season as a majors organization. Still not quite in that group of title contenders, but have made visible strides on the pitch. They'll be looking to end this season strong. Have lost a couple of matches in recent match days, but Celtic know a thing or two about losing streaks and will be keen to end theirs today. There you see, after Tokyo's loss in the previous video, it is a 9-point gap from Celtic up to next to last. They have all but guaranteed the wooden spoon, as by virtue of not being able to catch Tokyo, but will at least be looking to make it respectable, in the closing stages of the season. They do have a free kick here early on. It's floated into the box, but ultimately dealt with. Neither of these teams in the title picture, but certainly still playing for pride. And as I said in the previous video, pride is a powerful motivator, as that shot by Dybala goes right at the keeper ball. Not much to write home about in the early stages of this one, but Celtic do have a corner here. Near post, and it's headed away, but it's back in. Here's Pedrillo with the shot, and that is deflected into the side netting. And another corner kick incoming. Once again, headed out, and this time it's Volta for Tenochtitlan who gets to it first. Armaros. Through ball, and that's a little bit too hard. And that's a goal kick. Pinkman. Nearly losing out there, but that time they do. Patterson was looking for the through ball, but the pass wasn't quite online. Tenochtitlan will try again. Roya Strangin starting that move, and now Volta making a run up the near flank. And that's headed in by Dom Patterson. And that move just about came out of nowhere. A great header by Patterson. Volta made it possible with that cross. And just like that, Tenochtitlan take a 1-0 lead over Celtic. Tenochtitlan now passing amongst themselves. They do find their way through here. And that one pushed over by Clean Sheet. Elliott sends it to the near post. It's headed up into the air and behind, and that is a goal kick. Once again, the game seems to settle into a bit of a lull here. Neither side really creating too many chances. Tenochtitlan have had the better of it, though. Even putting aside their one goal, as that one forces a save out of Clean Sheet, who does meet the moment. Ball came forward there for Celtic, but didn't quite work out there. Does intercept though, courtesy of Mamba. And now Celtic with a chance to build some proper possession. They are under a press from Tenochtitlan. Still, through ball. Here's Miedema. Miedema passes forward, worked forward to Kika ball, and does win the corner. So some very good attacking movement there by Celtic. And they've not been completely bereft of confidence this season. They have had moments of brilliance such as that. It's just been a matter of trying to put them together into a cohesive performance that has somewhat eluded them, it would seem. Still plenty to build on, one would think, for next season. Certainly some chances to try and turn things around and bring themselves on a little more even footing with the rest of the league. Meanwhile, Tenochtitlan have been through similar growing pains as that shot saved by Ball, forcing a corner for Celtic, who have started to wake up in this match a little bit. Ball, and that's sent to the near post. Nosworthy. And ultimately Celtic forced back. Tenochtitlan, of course, have gone through these similar growing pains that Celtic are experiencing now, and certainly have come out the other side a better team for it. But now, after their third season in the league, one would think they've got to be setting their sights a little bit higher. You have to wonder what they intend to do in order to try and reach the upper echelons, as that chance nearly doubles Tenochtitlan's advantage. But in a league that has been as open and unpredictable as this one over the last couple of seasons, you can't help but wonder whether there's a team in the mid-table who can make a serious run at a title the next couple of seasons. Tenochtitlan might be one of those teams, depending on how well they build. Will be very interesting to see what steps they take going forward. For the moment, though, at the half, they lead 1-0 over Celtic. They'll kick us off to start the second, or rather have kicked us off to start the second. And they've immediately won a corner kick. Elliott will deliver at the near post, headed up, and it falls to Roger, who takes a wicked shot, but ultimately deflects behind. Near post, and it trickles in off of the defender. It's Leandro Dybala for Celtic, who turns the ball into their own net. An unfortunate turn of events. Let's look at it again. Cross goes in. It looked like the shot came in off of Pinkman. It fired into clean sheet and then just ricocheted into Dybala there. Perhaps wrong place, wrong time. And so it's 2-0 to Tenochtitlan. And that shot, a beautiful shot, Dybala making up for it immediately at the other end. Well, that came out of completely nowhere. Ball with the one touch to Skovgaard, who sent it in to Dybala and uncorked a beauty of a shot. So now it is 2-1, and the deficit has been restored to 1 goal. Now can Celtic get an equalizer here? Here is Kika Ball. Into the center, still shoots, and it's a good save there by Calvin Ball. And Celtic have really started to grow into this game now. And that shot just whistles over. Not by much, mind. Pedrillo with the free kick, trying to curve it around the wall, but didn't have enough bend on it. Ball curled in for Elliott, who tries to beat clean sheet at the near post, but only gets a corner out of it. Volta whips it in, headed up into the air, trying to pass it around, and Celtic will concede another corner. Nosworthy getting the leg in. This time the corner headed back out. And that's going to be an offside. Long pass intercepted. It's De Silva. Roger forward, and it's off the bar for Patterson. An unfortunate turn of events that could have really put Tenochtitlan out of sight there. Well, time winding down, Tenochtitlan looked a lot more comfortable in the first half, but here in the second half, Celtic really starting to find their voice here. They are running out of time to level this. Only about 15 minutes left, and it's Tenochtitlan with a throw-in. Volta crosses in, and that's headed past the keeper by Dom Patterson once again. If VAR allows it, this might be the death knell for the match. And the verdict is it will stand, and Tenochtitlan back to 2 goals ahead. And with less than 15 minutes to play, you have to think that'll just about wrap up the result here. Let's look at the offside replay again, and just barely onside was Patterson there. Time winding down in this one, and Tenochtitlan just content to see this out. They do have a corner here. Volta will deliver it near side, and it's headed away by the defender, Nosworthy. But then Roger was weaving in and almost uncontested, managed to take the shot and won a corner out of it. Near post corner again, this time headed back out, and Bruera Strangin gets to it. Tonto Tut finding the teammate, That cross overhit, though. As we rush through added time, Tenochtitlan will pick up what is likely a 3-1 win here. Certainly a good way to come to the line strong, so to speak. And there it is, the final whistle. Tenochtitlan 3, Leafyside Celtic 1. It is Dom Patterson who did the bulk of the damage with a brace. And then, of course, Dybala scoring at both ends. Certainly not the best or most enjoyable day for Celtic, but it certainly has been a lot worse. Patterson is your player of the match with 2 goals, and of course 2 assists as well for Sam Volta. Cannot be understated. It cannot be overstated how important that combination has been. Meanwhile, for Celtic, just another rough day. Dybala does at least get a goal that, for a time, put them within 1 goal of leveling the match, but it just was not to be this time. They'll have one more chance to try and break this losing streak for this season, but a lot of those players might be looking ahead to next season at this point. And so Tenochtitlan victorious at home, 3-1. Celtic still looking for a way to break their losing streak. And now we move on to our final match of this match day, and potentially the most important match of the season, as Sao Paulo could be set to claim the Major League title. All they have to do is beat the team that so many times in the last few seasons have had their number, AC Romana, having had a stronger season this season than in the past couple, now potentially poised to once again serve as Sao Paulo's bogey team. They've tripped up Sao Paulo so many times in the past. Ivialoro with a chance to do so again here and force the title race into the final match day. Sao Paulo need a win in order to confirm the title. If not, they still hold the points lead, but would need a win on the final match day in order to confirm it. We've seen this movie before, and I'm sure Sao Paulo fans are dreading this match to some extent. They've been strong all season, but they'll have to close it out here in order to be crowned champions today. We have kicked off. It's currently Romano in the purple and gold, as always, with the ball. And this could be a title decider in the most literal sense of the word. Ball forward. Minjiang sent it in, and Aguilera able to hold on to it. Hashimoto, the 1-2 with Gagne. Back to Hashimoto. Now Peixoto tries to pass in, but blocked by Hippity Hoppity. And it's a free kick. Francis. Sanji losing out there, but Mulder immediately giving it right back. Van Eindhoven. Now Minjiang, but losing out to Cotswold. Neither team really able to establish solid possession in these early stages. I expect that to change as the match wears on. Gagne, weaving around Francis in midfield. Sao Paulo looking to try and develop attackers. We know how lethal that front set of players is. And De Groot showing it there. And is that the goal that puts them ahead for good? Is that the goal that secures them their trophy? De Groot putting themselves in exactly the right place and fires it in with the left foot. Cronus could do nothing about it, and Sao Paulo lead 1-0. And now we have a corner kick. Hashimoto delivers, and that's not far off. Well, when you have history like these two teams do, an early goal does a lot to set the mind at ease. And a second one certainly doesn't hurt, as Roquefort Cotswold plow, just plows it through the wall, for lack of a better word. It looks like it took a little bit of a tip off of Flip, but it goes in nonetheless. And all of a sudden, Sao Paulo in a very good position. This is not what Hollywood wanted to see to start this match. Van Eindhoven does have a corner here for Romana. It's headed away, but they still have possession. Through ball. And it's a penalty. VAR will confirm, but the referee has given a penalty for AC Romana here. We'll have to see what the people in the booth think. No penalty. The penalty is overturned. There was no foul play in the box, according to the VAR. And that is a huge relief for Sao Paulo. Those are the sorts of breaks that have gone against them in the past in this very fixture. And winning the press is Nelson for Sao Paulo. Worked around, and it's just blocked. And it's not going to be a chance that Sao Paulo can score. But here, Sanji working through, but losing out. And it's another penalty that's been given. VAR will have to weigh in once again. And this time it is given. And now Van Eindhoven stepping up to the spot for Romana. And scores. Is this a momentum swing for AC Romana? The first penalty not given. The second one is right down Main Street for Van Eindhoven. And with 30 minutes gone, everything starts to get a little bit more nervy in this stadium. Sao Paulo will be pushing for another goal to try and ease the nerves, and they get it through Julian Rubio. Well, how's that for an instant response? The 2-goal lead is restored. 3-1, the line now. Mulder put the ball in. It reflected out, courtesy of Lichtsteiner and Cronus, and then Rubio just put it away. And that corner headed out. And it's skimmed in by Pope Francis. And these two teams going back and forth. Romana once again lowering the deficit to just 1 goal. They will not be put away so easily. And that's just going to cause Sao Paulo more headaches as this match wears on if they can't decisively pull ahead. Cotswold with the corner. Headed into the air, headed down, and De Groot has another one. And once again, ahead by 2 goals. Sao Paulo doing everything in their power to stamp their names on this trophy. Well, do Romana have another one in them? Minjiang forward, and the shot there pushed behind for a corner kick. About 5 minutes to play before the half. And that one headed out by Cotswold, but Romana's still with it. Van Eindhoven. Now Lichtsteiner, but blocked immediately by Rubio. Nelson. Pass forward to Mulder. Under pressure from Hoppity, who does win the ball with some very good physical play. But then Mulder taking it back and immediately chasing Hoppity down. Cotswold. Trying to dribble through the defense. It's back to De Groot, who is on the hat trick, but that won't do it. And so at the break, Sao Paulo, 45 minutes plus added time away from being SSL Major League champions. The atmosphere at the away end here at Coliseum is best described as cautious optimism. They know what position they're in, but they know that they've been here before and that there's still plenty of time for things to go wrong. Still, here is De Groot trying to sneak it in at near post, and it's deflected behind again for a corner. And that one is headed in by Ryan Kirkpatrick. And is this Sao Paulo pulling away? Corner came in, and Kirkpatrick, one of the defensive stalwarts of this team, one of the unsung heroes of this Sao Paulo side, weighing in with a goal that could provide the greatest day in the organization's history. For several seasons, they occupied the absolute basement of the SSL, looking completely bereft of confidence, bereft of hope. But after a steady rebuilding effort, after a lot of blood and sweat and tears, they find themselves just minutes from the pinnacle as that shot whistles over the bar. Sao Paulo will continue to press the advantage. No lead is big enough for them to feel 100% safe, and I'm sure their fans will feel the same way. Worked forward to Cotswold, gets to the end line, and the charging tackle in does liberate the ball from Sao Paulo's grasp, but only for a moment as that one shot into the hands of Cronus. Time winding down. Ball back to the keeper, Aguilera. And it's worked through, and it's ultimately tipped over. worked back in, and ultimately sent away. Kirkpatrick bringing it forward. Hashimoto tries the low cross in, dealt with. Gagne, and the strike. It's pushed away in front by the keeper and ultimately dealt with by Romana. That could have been a real heart and mouth moment. Could have been another goal for Sao Paulo as Cotswold takes the free kick, and that one ends up in the stands. Another corner for Sao Paulo. Near post. And that's sent away by Minjong. Francis doesn't have the numbers for a counter. Now here's Stausch forward. Van Eindhoven finding Minjong. Ultimately losing out there. Some very quick passing here from Sao Paulo, trying to find a way through. They might have done here. It's Mulder. Mulder takes it themselves and just puts it past the keeper. And if there was any doubt before, I think it's pretty obvious with just over 10 to play that Sao Paulo have just about won the SSL Major League. It's been a long time coming. So much heartache, so much struggle. And now they finally find themselves clasping it. They just have to withstand 10 more minutes plus added time. I can confirm the trophy has been brought out here at Coliseo. It's waiting in the tunnel for full time. As the free kick stood over by Cotswold. Taking all the time they can, and understandably so. And that one forces another save out of Cronus, who has not had the best day at the office. Corner comes in. Headed up. Worked around, and the shot pushed behind again. I believe that was Head who took that effort from outside the box. And now another corner at the near post. Once again headed away. Cotswold nearly losing out. Rubio. Now Hashimoto coming forward again and ultimately comes to nothing. You could just feel the excitement of the Sao Paulo fans as they watch that clock tick down. Rubio and the ball passed in, but ultimately went awry. Only 3 minutes of added time separating Sao Paulo from the trophy, and those have all but come and gone. Here's Mulder. And there'll be a parade down the Amazon tonight because Sao Paulo are the SSL Major Division champions for Season 22. And with a match to spare, they have done it. So many times they've come so close, but never been able to seal the deal, and now they have. And against one of their biggest bogeys in that time, AC Romana, it's an absolutely wonderful display from Sao Paulo, led basically from pillar to post. And today they can call themselves champions. There you see Nerve de Groot, player of the match with a brace. Goals also from Kirkpatrick, Cotswold, Mulder, and Rubio. An incredible performance all season long by this side. Certainly deserved champions without a doubt. Victorious on the day, 6-2. And of course, that's just icing on the cake. What a performance it was all season long. And there you see the final standings. Well, not quite final. We do still have one more match to play, but they cannot be caught now. Just to recap real quick, Hollywood with a 7-1 win over Buenos Aires, Tenochtitlan winning 3-1 over Celtic, and we just saw Sao Paulo capping their season with a 6-2 win over Romana to confirm their status as champions. Well, congratulations to União Sao Paulo for winning the SSL Major Division. There's still one more match to play, but at this point, it's just for pride for pretty much every team in this league. We hope you'll still join us nevertheless. Until then, this has been Metafiction, and congratulations once again to Sao Paulo. Until next time, take care.